4:30, some bad blood this afternoon between Taylor Swift fans and Ticketmaster. More than 24 fans are suing the ticketing giant and its parent company, Live Nation. They say Ticketmaster broke antitrust and other laws during a chaotic sales process for Swift's new tour. The suit also alleges the companies engaged in anti-competitive practices, charging higher prices on fans in the pre-sale, sale, and resale market. They also accuse Ticketmaster of forcing concert goers to exclusively use its site, controlling access to the tour. Ticketmaster has apologized to fans and said that the demand drove unprecedented traffic. This lawsuit, of course, catching the attention of a lot of fans who had trouble getting their own tickets. Joining us now, WFSB's legal expert, Eric Parker. Eric, good to see you as always.
Good to see you, Aaron. Certainly a big story a lot of people have been talking about.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for weeks, really. It was just a mess, the entire ticket process. So a lot of fans up in arms. They filed this lawsuit. Do you think that it really could have any impact?
Well, I think it got a lot of headlines for sure. And I think maybe that's part of what the goal was here. The lawyer who brought this on behalf of 24 plaintiffs in California said she was one who tried to get tickets for her and her daughter on the day of the sale. She was shut out like so many others, and then ended up having to try to chase tickets like everybody else did. She brought this lawsuit. They were seeking $2,500 per customer under a California antitrust law. They've since heard from more than 150 other customers who want to join in. The scope of it, though, it brings a lot of headlines. But even if they get thousands of customers, $2,500 a pop, a big company like Live Nation and Ticketmaster, that's probably not as scary as it may be to a smaller company, but certainly it gets a lot of headlines and continues to give them that bad publicity.
Well, and in addition to that, we've heard lawmakers like Senator Blumenthal criticizing Ticketmaster for what happened here. This lawsuit is separate from any action by the government. I imagine that's what would really scare Ticketmaster and Live Nation.
Yeah, exactly. Certainly this got a lot of headlines, but it's action like the Justice Department opening an antitrust investigation, which would basically be looking at the possibility that Ticketmaster and Live Nation basically are a monopoly in the big concert ticket area. There's been allegations of things like handing out small pieces of the pie to resellers like SeatGeek and saying you can just sell in this one particular area, and that by controlling that entire market, it is essentially a monopoly that Ticketmaster and Live Nation are running. People like Senator Blumenthal, Senator Amy Klobuchar, who's in charge of the antitrust committee, multiple state attorney generals have already said they want to investigate this, and that's something that we've seen have a lot of effect in the past when attorneys general from all across the state, all across the country, I should say, get together, band together. So that for sure is scarier than this lawsuit filed in California. This is getting the headlines. It's allowing a lot of headline writers to make Taylor Swift puns. But the real problem, I think, is probably whether or not the Justice Department or Congress gets a hold of some antitrust legislation.
Yes, we've heard every pun that we could from a Taylor Swift song. That is for sure. Eric, any legal precedent, though, for this? Have we seen any lawsuits like this before for other artists or tickets to concerts, shows, etc.?
There are, and I guess maybe it speaks to whether or not they are sort of a monopoly. Ticketmaster was involved in them in those cases too. Back in 2020, there was a bunch of Major League Baseball fans who wanted refunds of tickets for games that were postponed due to COVID. They sued individual teams along with Ticketmaster and some of the reseller companies like StubHub. There's also a big lawsuit that was back in 2011 was settled for $16.5 million in relation to Bruce Springsteen tickets. And then, of course, just last year, or earlier this year, I guess it was, there was a big hubbub about people trying to buy Bruce tickets. So you got to remember, though, in that case, it was $16.5 million. But when the class action actually trickled down to the consumer, it was $10 per fan out of that $16.5 million, because there were so many people affected, or you get like an $18 credit off your ticket. So I don't think anybody should, plan on getting those front row seats from this lawsuit, but it could have an effect.
Yeah, no great shakes, that's for sure. Eric Parker, WFSB's legal expert. Always good to see you, Eric. We appreciate all your insight.
Thank you, Aaron.